Guys, so this is my variable income medium wealth gambling city. It goes up to 6.2 mil is the highest I've seen it. 5 mil is more typical. And this is everything. Okay, I'm going to try to think of all the tips and tricks that got me here, right? So generally the end game layout is just a whole bunch of sleek casinos. So if we click the tourist map, all of these orange lines are medium wealth people gambling inside of sleek casinos. So a sleek casino with a maxed out on 6 craps tables can hold 920 medium wealth tourists or something like that. So you can see most of them have about 920 medium wealth tourists. And really, I ran out of space. If I build a new casino, it immediately maxes out, and if I build a new casino after that, it immediately maxes out, etc., etc. So maximum income is determined only by how many sleek casinos you can jam in there, man. And you can see there's a lot of, like, in here, wasted space. So somebody who is a lot more OCD or organized than I am could have probably jammed at least a couple more casinos in here. So the layout of the town, you can see I've got a bunch of residential. I've got 75,000 residents in this little tiny area in the center. Because at first I set up my city with commuters coming in from external city, and you can see if we click the low wealth commuter thing, there's this little arrow saying that we get 253 people commuting in from this commuter city, which has 7,000 available commuters that can come over to my gambling city. But what I found is that when you rely 100% on commuters, your casinos open and close based on when the workers arrive and how long it takes them to drive to their job, and you just can't maximize income in that way. I want to fast forward to 6 a.m. and show you rush hour, but it looks like the clock is missing and the game won't go faster than the slowest speed. So I guess I can't demonstrate that, but just looking around you can see that there's absolutely zero traffic of any kind. The only traffic on the roads is cop cars, garbage trucks, and buses. This is due to a combination of lots and lots of park and rides just jammed in on both sides of the worker place. Double streetcar with lots of streetcar stops. Like, that's an insane number of streetcar stops going along. So each individual building has many streetcar stops right next to it. And double buses. You can see with the highway entrance right here, there's a T intersection, and on both sides, equidistant from the highway, both sides of the T, there are bus stations, and doing it that way allows, hopefully, for the buses to go to both stations equally. Because, like, if you made one road with 2 bus things on it, then one of them would be drastically closer than the other, and so all the buses would go to the first one, and none of the buses would ever make it to the second one. So you have to kind of split them that way. The agent system benefits people who split things equidistantly a lot, and like, if you're going to make 2 sewage centers, you have to split them equidistantly from the city, and same with water and power and stuff like that. Each of these sleek casinos makes me 250,000, like $250,000 per day. So the total income goes up to, like, I think 600,000 an hour, which is ridiculous. But then the expenses, brings it down by 200K, and so you end up with 400K an hour or 300K an hour or something like that. Over here we can statistically see how all of the tourists are getting into my city, and more importantly, there's this number right here. So this is your tourist draw, right? So if you mouse over current tourists right here, it says I have 8,000 low wealth tourist slots available in my city. And so each casino you build, each commercial zone you build, each lounge you attach to a casino, each comedy club you attach to a casino, each sign you place on a casino, all of those things are tourist draws. They draw in more tourists. So when you place one, you see the number on the right side of the denominator go up for each of the wealth types. Now you notice how one of these things is not like the other, and we sing children's songs about it. High wealth tourist is 30, low wealth tourist is 8, and medium wealth tourist is 600. Like, it's ridiculously higher than the other ones. This is actually a bug that I hope is fixed at some point, but until it's fixed, it's how you make awesome tourist cities. I'm not even sure what is causing this medium wealth draw to go up and up and up. But basically, I designed my city around the concept that sleek casinos are the best dollars per hour per space, right? They're the most efficient space-wise way to earn money. And elegant casinos obviously are more space efficient for money, but elegant casinos are impossible to max out because of this bug that we're seeing here, where it's only possible to get 160,000 tourists-ish into your city at all. And so once your total tourist draw is above that number, then your city kind of picks whichever one has the highest draw, and only those people go into your city. So right now, the only tourists I see every day are medium. I don't see any low, and I don't see any high. And you can mouse over profits and look at that. Low wealth profits is 15,000, whereas medium wealth profits is 9 million. It's very much bigger than 15,000. And high wealth profits are 0, even though I have a 30,000 high wealth draw, and it says that I have 30,000 high wealth tourists in my city at this very moment. It's lying to you. I don't have 30,000 high wealth tourists. I have 0 high wealth tourists, of course, which is why I've made 0 from high wealth tourism in general. So let's look next at these numbers over here, mass transit. This is how tourists get into your city. Now, some tourists can come in from the highway, but because a highway entrance is actually just a single lane, it's not a number worth thinking about. Who cares about how many tourists come in from the highway? It's probably like 100 at most, maybe 1,000, but probably not. So we look at buses. We got 31,000 people riding buses. 29,000 of them are medium wealth tourists, but a lot of those are people going from one casino to another, or from one casino to a train station or something like that. So not all of them are people actually entering the city. Over here we got streetcars. Again, it's 13,000 medium wealth tourists riding streetcars, but we know for a fact that none of them are leaving the city, right? They're just going from one place to another. And then this is the big one, trains. We've got 40,000 medium wealth tourists entering our city every day by train. And then the second big one is boats, 75,000 people coming in by boat. So 75 plus 40 is 110-ish. So when we click on this tourist number, we should see something close to 110. So 120,000 tourists. So this fluctuates. I've seen it as high as 160,000 and as low as 80,000. But it basically is always equal to the number of people you got by train plus the number of people you got by boat, and nothing else matters. So you build airports, and the airport brings in 500 people. It's completely irrelevant. Don't bother with airports. You build buses, and people ride the buses, and some tourists do enter your city by bus. If, for example, you make a city with a bunch of casinos and only buses and no other entry, you can get a good 10,000 tourists in by bus or something like that. But it's nowhere near the 75,000 people you can get by boat. And I only have looks like 13, 14, 15 ferry entrances. So if you could find a map with more than 15 ferry entrances, you get even more tourists and by boat. So boats are the real thing. Boats are awesome. Now, let's talk about why there's no traffic, right? First of all, there's no residential commuter traffic because of the streetcar stops plus the bus stops plus the massive number of buses. And it's important to note that not only do I have a massive number of buses, but I have 2 local-only shuttle bus depots, right? Because if you only make regional buses, they're going to spend a big portion of their time taking people out of the city and bringing people into the city. But if you make a shuttle bus, all it does is move people within the city from one place to another. So that's important. So streetcars and buses deal with the residential local traffic. And then the reason I have no tourist traffic, like normally when you look at a tourist city, you see tons of taxis everywhere. But in this city, there's absolutely no tourists on the road anywhere. Look around. I see none. 0 tourists on the road. And the reason for that is that every sleek casino is within walking distance of a train station. So right here is a train station, and we can look at the little road attached to it. Actually, there's a boat right here. So this sleek casino is connected by a very short walk. Look at these people walking to a boat. Right? So when they're done gambling, they go to the boat. This one's very close to the same boat. This one's very close to that train station. These 2 are very close to this train station up here. These guys, bloop, right to the train station. These guys go to the boat. These guys go to the boat, and so on and so forth. So every casino I have is extremely close to a city exit, being either a train station or a boat. And buses, yes. Bus stations can serve as a city exit, but they have a maximum waiting tourist capacity of 500, so they'll tend to fill up, and then a bunch of taxis will appear because the bus station nearby is full. And same goes for airports. Looks like there was a disaster that blew up some of these, then I need to replace them. I'm getting distracted. Anyway, same is true for airports. When somebody arrives by airport, they will take a taxi. When somebody wants to leave the city by airport, they will take a taxi. So airports, not only do they only support like 500 incoming and outgoing tourists, but they also create traffic on your roads, which is a big no-no, because if you have this number, like 160,000 tourists going to gamble plus 80,000 residents, which is actually the equivalent of like 8 plus 4 is 12,000 little dudes going around trying to work at places, your roads can fill up quick, and then your whole city starts to burn down, and bad things happen to you. Anyway, that's everything I can remember. This is how to make a huge and awesome gambling city. You can see I got 78 million bucks, which I intend to use as the seed for the next project, which will be hopefully a high wealth only gambling city. But so far, every attempt I've made at making any kind of gambling city has resulted in this, where your medium wealth tourist draw just kind of goes insane. You can see it's getting higher and higher as time goes on. At first it was like, I think it's legitimately from the signs and the sleek casinos I placed. I think I got it to legitimately about 100,000, and then it just started to grow constantly forever. So over the course of several in-game weeks, it went to 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, just kept growing until now it's up to 600,000. Just like a real life hour ago, it was only at 500,000. So I don't know if eventually the city will explode just because that denominator shouldn't go above a certain number. But so far, like, I've been farming money off this city, and I'm up to 80 million. I've been doing it for a very long time, and because there's no traffic, and these houses don't really get abandoned due to anything, because I'm dealing with my citizens' happiness pretty well, I can just leave the city on, and it makes lots of money, and it doesn't self-destruct the way that a less stable city would. So, that's my story, man. Once upon a time, that. So 5.5 mil a day from actual tourism profits, and then you subtract the amount of money that you're spending on this stuff, and you kind of end up around 5.5 mil. Who knows? Who knows? Something up there. Anyway,